For this video, what I want to show is how to wrap a mirror for full print wrap for long-term durability. So again, one of those things where on the other mirror, and I just took footage of this, Carlos wrapped the mirror in one piece with full print film. Heated it, stretched it, got around. It looks great, one piece. And again, as a lot of you know, any wrap looks good for a day. It's all about long-term durability. So for me, for full print, because it's a moving billboard for me, I don't like to wrap it in one piece. I just think for me that always opens the door to long-term durability of overstretching. Then you're going to start getting fingers and peeling. And for me, I think a client definitely would rather, they don't see the mirror, because again, you always have to think about the client's eyes. They don't necessarily see the mirror wrapped in 2 pieces or even 3 pieces. What they see is fingers and curling. Okay, so the only people who really see if a mirror is not wrapped in one piece are installers. But again, for me, for full print wrap, I mean, for a color change, obviously I'm going to wrap it in one piece. That's not a question. But for full print, you always just have to think your first priority is durability, but also seeing through the client's eyes. This is not for Instagram posting, show off your business. This is long-term durability. Just make it good, clean, and solid and durable. So again, what you're going to see in this video is I'm going to take advantage of what I have. And what I have here in this case is I have a textured molding here, and there's a product called Mold and Hold where this cut right here is extremely tight. I can barely get my fingernail in there. To get a nice, good, clean cut in there with full print film, because again, we got 3.3 millimeters of film going on here. It's really tough to get in there. So I'm going to use Mold and Hold here, and use a little bit of edge seal tape, of knifeless tape to cut it here, and come back with Mold and Hold. Then I'm going to do Mold and Hold at the top as well. So again, I'm going to take knifeless tape, run a piece here, cover it first with purple. And why do I do this piece first and the backside second is the backside is generally flat. And what this is going to do is the material as it comes around here has a little bit of tension. The chance of it peeling is high. So if I put this piece first and then this piece second, this piece is actually going to hold, the backside piece. So for me, this is 1, 2, and then I'm going to run the knifeless tape and then finish with the Mold and Hold. So again, that's what I'm going to show here. And again, for me, how I got this idea is I live in Amsterdam now, and I watch the Dutch installers when they do fleet wrapping. When they do fleet wrapping, this is how they wrap mirrors, because again, they want to guarantee the wraps on for long term. Again, they're not wrapping for color change, they're wrapping for full print, and that's what I want to show here. So let's get to it.
So in this mirror, I asked Carlos to wrap it in one piece with full print film and wrap it as if he's kind of like a beginner intermediate. So basically what he's doing, he's trying to do it right, or what he's told is right, is try to wrap it in one piece so it looks like paint. But while he's wrapping around, notice how it kind of whitened at the top, so he got the front part kind of purpley. It all looks glassy, but it used tons of heat, so it looks good for now, but it's going to look terrible in a day or even a week when it starts to shrink back on the mirror. But again, front part is purple, but as he gets to the edge, it starts to whiten. He's cutting everything to the edge. So again, it looks like paint in the sense that it is 100% purple. So again, that in one way is good because, obviously you want anything to look like paint, but even at the bottom section there, started to whiten again. That's very common with full print film, is as soon as you start to heat, especially on these areas, it whitens. And even there at the base there, it's whitened as well. So again, by pulling at the critical areas, and that just tells you where the hot areas are, is where it whitens. So right there, it whitened at the top, right there, it whitens in the corner there. So again, at all the critical areas, it whitened, and that tells you A, it looks terrible, and B, that tells you that that's where it's going to fail for sure. It got overstretched. So again, it is 100% one piece, but is this going to stay for the long term? No. Does it look good? No. So for me, is this a great way to do mirrors, especially if you're intermediate or beginner? Absolutely not. So what I want to show is, on this side, how to do it for long-term durability. And even if you're an experienced installer, I think this is a very good, straightforward way to do it because, again, even if you wrap it at the edge and you get it with good quality and then, it's purple, there's always that chance of it failing. I don't like anything having a chance of failing when it hits the road. I like everything to be 100% guaranteed. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up this particular mirror with knifeless tape. And again, it's full print film. I can use standard finish line here. These don't have a lot of major curves here, so I don't need to use design line. And what I like about finish line is that strong string doesn't break. So especially if you're intermediate and beginner, this is a good string to use, the finish line. So again, setting up with 3 sets lines of knifeless. Here, I'm going to start at the hardest part and pull away from the back side here. So I don't want any tension on the back side, so I start at the hardest part, flip it over, and I'm going to use triangles now to kind of even out the tension at the very front edge there where it's rounded the most. And by pulling nice and clean, this section in the middle, which notoriously has material that bunches up here, watch how I pull straight down and I'm there. So again, by shifting the material away from the middle, it just wraps that middle section there nice and easy. So notice I'm pulling nice and clean here. Again, this material is kind of oversaturated, a little too much ink, and the workspace temperature is good, so haven't had to use any heat here because I can naturally just pull enough and then relax the material down. And once I have glass, only then do I squeegee. So I have glass and I just simply squeegee it to the edge. Do I need to take it all the way to the edge? No, I just need to take it to the knifeless tape. So again, I take it to the knifeless tape at the top, I pick it up and I feed it into the knifeless tape at the bottom. Again, very minimal tension there because I pulled cold. Hard to overstretch the material cold. So once I get it to the bottom there, I'm setting it all up on the knifeless tape, nice and straightforward and clean. Run my finger, set it up, double check it, and then again, before I cut the knifeless tape, I want to make sure that everything is on 100%. So I pull evenly towards the top, make sure it's at the top ridge there. Again, focusing on the hardest parts first. Pull the material down and away from the top there. Again, that's the most critical section there. So I hit the critical section first, and then I hit the second most critical section, which is there in the middle. But notice by pulling cold without any heat, it's 100% purple. So my color is 100% uniform. Did I stretch it? Yes. But did I overstretch it? Absolutely not. So again, I have the quality of the print. But is there some tension on the edge? Yes, which is why I'm going to cut it away with the knifeless tape. So I'm backing all the edges up a little bit. So I run my finger, seal the deal, and again, this is a back section. I got the material cut away. And again, I'm obviously pulling the knifeless tape in sequential order of how I put it on so I don't cut the strings. Cut the top, pull the filament out, nice and clean, and then I do the same thing at the bottom. Fold, hold the fold, and pull. Very clean, pull clean and straight, pull the material away, all the filament comes out. And again, never leave the filament because the filament is not good to leave under the film. Once I pull the filament out, then I always do the corners first. A little bit of heat now just to kind of seal the edge. So again, it doesn't make the material pull up on itself or retract or get small. I just want to make sure I relax it to the edge there. So again, do the angle first, come back, give it a little kiss of heat just to relax it before I squeegee. Very important just to let the material kind of settle on the edge there. So even though I got there with some tension, you just want to relax it at the final edge there before you seal the deal. So again, notice I have a gap at the bottom, top, and on the back side. So again, the only little part that I have to cut with my knife now is the gap between the molding there. And here I'm not going to open the mirror and wrap deeper behind there. It goes about another 1/4 inch under there. This is a full print wrap. As long as I cut on the side of the molding, have this super symmetrical, that's as far as you need to go. So now, before I put the other backside piece in this case it's going to be green because I like that two-tone technique, is here I'm going to run knifeless tape again, and just running the edge of the knifeless tape so it's super symmetrical. I have about 1/8 of an inch overlap. And here I'm just coming in with the scrap, but what I really want to emphasize here is relief cuts. Okay, I'm not going to grab my heat gun and just start willy-nilly pulling the film and jamming it in. I'm doing the flat part first. Once I get it to the flat part, fully covered, I make my first relief cut. And now it's just about a series of relief cuts and kind of managing the film onto the flat area. So I did the big section in the middle, on the back side here towards the molding there. And I pull with glass and I'm pulling cold. By pulling cold, the green stays green and doesn't whiten. Very important to emphasize there. So make another relief cut there once I'm close. Make sure that the knifeless tape doesn't get behind the film. And again, just pulling with glass, nice and even, using the triangle technique there. Forming it on with my finger and the squeegee when I need to. Again, just kind of setting up to this bottom portion here. Making another relief cut so it just relaxes into the base, nice and clean. And again, very good clean break here to cut on here. So I set it up with my fingernail or squeegee here. So again, fingernails sometimes are a great squeegee for these tight little moldings here. Once I get that set up, again, my knife is fresh, it's nice and clean from the other side. So I'm going to cut on the side of the molding. So I'm getting a slight bit of overlap of film that's going to go on the inside portion there, so it's green. Once I make the cut there, very careful not to keep on cutting there because I don't want to cut the molding. So once I've set up there, I set up the next edge. So again here, no need to tuck it in there because I'm going to come back with mold and hold there. So I'm just going to cut on the side of the molding and tuck it in. So again, it might come up a little short, but the mold and hold will fill that in later. You'll see that in a second. So again, making another relief cut there and just pulling away this excess film. Once I cut it away, you want to come back in with a micro squeegee here because it's such a tight little edge there. Normal squeegee won't get it fully sealed, micro squeegee will. So again, make sure you have the right tools on hand, especially when you get to mirrors because they have nice tight edges. So again, the micro squeegee pays off a lot. Once I cut that away, nice and clean, watch, I just pull with glass and again, pulling cold. No need to break out the heat here. So I'm just getting it to the edge of the knifeless tape there on this back section. Once I get it to there, it's bridging a little bit, so I make another relief cut. Okay, the relief cut is the heat gun. The relief cut is what's relaxing the film. Heat gun usually relaxes it but the heat gun can overstretch it and make the film whiten. Relief cuts don't do this. So once I get the material there, I get it just formed in. Again, fingers are great squeegees for this little tricky area. And most of the time, this back section is flatter than this. This is a particularly curvy one. But regardless, again, I can nail it with relief cuts. I'm just getting it to the knifeless tape there, forming it in nice and clean. And again, I'm trying to do this in real time just so you can see that this doesn't take that much time to do. Plus, for me as an installer, I think it looks good because I got green and purple there. A lot of vehicles have rubber molding on this back section anyway, so this looks like a normal car. But for me, what I'm loving about it, first and foremost, is I know for sure that this is good quality. The green is green, the purple is purple, there's no whitening. But for me, long-term durability is my #1 priority, and I know for sure I've gotten to the edges so far, and that overlap especially has absolutely no tension. I'm cutting just clean enough on the backside, super nice. You see the nice, good, straight, symmetrical line back there. If you notice now, what I'm doing on the portion that's by the front of the mirror, where the molding is I'm adding mold and hold, and you can either use matte black or you can even use like a purple or green stripe here. Don't have to use mold and hold. But what I like mold and hold is it looks exactly like the textured molding that came from the factory. So you're basically extending the molding out from what's already there. And what I like about it is it's holding the material on. So notice I cut the material away. I'm not wrapping the mold and hold on the molding. The mold and hold goes directly on the paint, but because you pulled it away with a knifeless tape, it's holding the film on the car. So again, for me, this is extra, extra durable. There's no way that the mold and hold is coming up in 3 years. There's no way that the purple or green is going to peel up. This is long-term durability. This is no different than using edge seal underneath a bumper or on a boat or anything like that. This is all about long-term durability, but using what the car gives you. There's textured molding on this. I'm extending the textured molding. It's going to look totally fine to the client, and that's one of my main points in this video, and actually in this whole video series, is seeing through the client's eyes. Once this mirror is kind of heated and done and pushed back into its original position, it looks like a purple mirror through the client's eyes. The other side, which is wrapped in one piece, looks like a purple mirror as well, but has whitening, and the chance of those edges staying for the long term is very minimal. So what a client does see is fingers and whitening and lifting. This style of mirror, they just see a purple mirror, and in fact that green little sliver on the back, most clients like that because it makes the mirror custom. Do they see the mold and hold? No, because it matches the original molding on the car. So for long term, this stays a purple mirror, this purple with no lifting and no fingers, super durable. Is this highly profitable? Yes. Was it much quicker to install? Yes. Was the material relaxed on there? Yes. Is this a happy client? Yes. Thanks for watching. Justin Pate.